nice weather today, although what's with all the vehicles and stuff on the trails? Nobody likes to walk anymore, huh? And what did I read today? This was kind of crazy, but it makes me think of that point again when it comes to things like, say, a drone regulation. You can't stop people who are going to use it in a bad way. How about this one? This one says, Laguna Beach man pleads guilty to unsafely operating drone near several aircraft, including a Coast Guard helicopter in mid-flight. An Orange County man pleaded guilty today to federal criminal charges for unsafely operating a drone aircraft on several occasions, including once flying it near a United States Coast Guard helicopter in mid-flight off the coast of Laguna Beach. Alexander Milanovic, 62 of Laguna Beach, pleaded guilty to 3 misdemeanor counts of unsafe operations of an unmanned aircraft. Just read all these examples they wrote of what the guy apparently did. It says, on June 19, 2022, Milanovic launched his drone at a father and son who were flying an open cockpit gyrocopter on Father's Day. Milanovic flew the unmanned aircraft to within 10 to 20 feet of the gyrocopter, which was off the coast of Crescent Bay Beach and Laguna Beach, which caused the son who was operating the gyrocopter to make an emergency course correction to avoid striking the drone and crashing into the Pacific Ocean. On July 26, 2022, Milanovic launched a drone at and flew it next to a Discovery Channel Shark Week blimp flying at an altitude between 500 and 1,000 feet over the Pacific Ocean in the Laguna Beach area. The blimp's pilot estimated the drone to be in line with hitting the blimp and causing him to navigate a life-threatening emergency crash landing. On March 19, 2023, 4 members of a Coast Guard flight crew were flying a rescue helicopter about 200 to 300 feet above sea level in Laguna Beach. Milanovic launched a drone and flew it directly at the Coast Guard helicopter, coming to within 200 feet of it. The crew maneuvered the helicopter away from the drone, fearing it would hit their tail rotor and cause the helicopter to crash into the Pacific Ocean. That's crazy, isn't it? You would wonder, what the heck was the guy doing? Is he like a terrorist, for example? Was he trying to hurt people? According to this, it says law enforcement was notified in November 2022 of videos posted on the TikTok social media application that showed Milanovic's drone flying dangerously close to the aircraft. United States District Judge Fred W. Slaughter scheduled a November 28 sentencing hearing, at which time Milanovic will face a statutory maximum sentence of 1 year in federal prison for each count. The FBI and the Orange County Sheriff Department investigated this matter as part of the Joint Terrorism Task Force with assistance from the Federal Aviation Administration and the United States Coast Guard. That is crazy. And funny enough, in this situation, you'd think it'd be like, quote, just some kid, for example, flying it. What it says here is like a 62-year-old posting it on like TikTok and stuff like that. What is going on here? Again, they don't specifically say what his motivation was, which I guess will come out later. But you could assume it was for things like clout, but it's just kind of crazy to think about, huh? You can't stop people like this. Especially, I guess, with that thought, again, how some people say, oh, make over-the-top regulations, you'll stop things like this from happening. I don't think so. You gotta find ways to deal with people like that versus restricting everyone who's doing nothing wrong. It does make me wonder what type of drone he was actually flying too. And with that thought, I was reading this today where apparently there was a milestone with a really large drone and it was flying really high in the air. How about this one? This one says, we have liftoff over a 24-hour period. PHASA 35 completed a stratospheric flight trial and soared to more than 66,000 feet before landing successfully. So according to this, it's a high-altitude pseudo-satellite uncrewed aerial system. And what does it do and who does it benefit? It says, the PHASA 35 program sits within FalconWorks, a new center for advanced and agile research development with BAE Systems Air Sector designed to deliver a range of cutting-edge combat air capabilities to the UK and its allies. It says it has a 35-meter wingspan and carries a 15-kilogram payload, uses a range of world-leading technologies including advanced composite energy management, solar electric cells, and photovoltaic arrays to provide energy during the day, which is stored in rechargeable cells to maintain flight overnight. So that's kind of cool. I remember reading other stories of drones that last for, let's just say, days or months or whatever. They all kind of have the same design and shape too. So I guess we'll be seeing more of these pretty soon, huh? And I was reading more about that SAG AFTRA strike today, wondering more about what was the deal with that AI disagreement. It was kind of interesting because apparently, I guess the dispute is one side is claiming production companies, they want, I guess, rights for performers where once they film them, they can modify them in any way they want, I guess, as a performer, and they don't have to, I guess, pay them. That's one side of it anyways, because this one here says, Actors versus AI strike brings focus to emerging use of advanced tech. SAG AFTRA has joined the Writers Guild of America in demanding a contract that explicitly demands AI regulations to protect writers and the works they create. So it's kind of interesting too, because I would imagine this would relate to other fields and industries as well in terms of, I guess, rights, likeness, and so forth. I know there are lawsuits in recent times too where people are actually suing AI companies for, I guess, using their information and material to train like the bot and all that. Now here it says here, quote, AI can't write or rewrite literary material, can't be used as source material, and works covered by union contracts can't be used to train AI. Reads the WGA's demand issued on May 1st. Artificial intelligence tools that mimic humans have in recent years become far more effective in creating images and text and more common. The technology that replicates individuals' faces and voices is becoming more prominent in Hollywood. Now, usually when it comes to things, let's just say like regulations and so forth, people often say they start with, let's just say, the weakest bunch and then slowly go to others. So here it just sounds like they want to stop it in general, because the claim here, they say, SAG AFTRA's chief negotiator claimed at the news conference that the studio's proposal for AI rules exploited actors without speaking roles. They propose that our background performers should be able to be scanned, get paid for one day's pay, and their company should own that scan, their image, their likeness, and should be able to use it for the rest of the eternity in any project they want with no consent and no compensation, he said. But then the Alliance of Motion Picture and Television Producers say that is completely, I guess, untrue in terms of the way they worded it per se, what they say anyways. Because it says here, its proposal only permits a company to use the digital replica of a background actor in the motion picture for which the background actor is employed. Any other use requires the background actor's consent and bargaining for the use, subject to a minimum payment, an AMPTP spokesperson told NBC News. So who would you believe in that case? I guess the fear is kind of, have you ever seen those viral videos where there are famous people saying stuff that they never said, because what they did was they took various clips and audio sound bites of the person talking from somewhere. Then they tell the AI, I want this person to read out this sentence in this guy's voice. And so it will pick little parts of each speech to form those sentences. And many people are fooled by it actually. So imagine doing something like that here with a performer, whether it's their, I guess, likeness, like their face or their voice in the future. So I guess that's the concern there, where a studio will exploit that, where they get it once, now they'll have this huge database to use forever and ever without any type of compensation. That's the concern, I suppose. But that is an interesting topic, because as I mentioned, there are companies being sued now from people, for example, like authors saying these AI bots, they got trained with their work. So I guess there's some kind of maybe copyright issue, for example, with that potentially. So that's the thing with AI nowadays. Should they be able to use it to, quote, train themselves on other people's work to then create some kind of other creation? Because you could argue, I mean, it's just like a person, right? They read material and so forth, they study from it, and then they create their own work based on that knowledge. But would you agree or not, where an AI should be able to do stuff like this? Alright, see you guys later.